Hello, Dr. Carl here, and today I wanted to start with a fact that might shock many of you who are not in the men's rights movement. Would you be shocked to learn that many of us are actually former feminists? Indeed, probably the best example of this is Warren Farrell, one of the greatest men's rights advocates there is. He was an active member of the National Organization for Women, NOW. In fact, he served on their New York Board of Supervisors 3 times, only man to have ever done that. Why is it that many of us are former feminists? Well, we actually believed feminists in years past when they said that they believed in equality and that they had men covered too, and that any injustices against men, they were against that as well. But as time went on, we became disappointed to see that it seemed to be largely lip service. Worse yet, they often got hostile when we tried to mention any men's issues. And after a while, they snidely told us, well, get your own groups, get your own movement. Indeed, in an interview with Cassie J, Big Red, when she was asked about what do you say to those who say that feminists don't do enough for men, well, then they should get their own movement. She then, of course, caught herself and said, and so they did. Which brings me to the main point of this video. One of the many things that upsets me whenever I think about it is how many times and how much feminists fight us and become defensive when we start mentioning men's issues. And by defensive, I don't necessarily mean nasty or aggressive, although there's certainly been a lot of that as well. Sometimes it's just the mental gymnastics to do anything you can to just not agree with us, or to act like, the points we're bringing up are no big deal, or whatever. Like trying to save face or something. But this isn't a competition. We say that all the time. And it's occurred to me the amount of effort and energy you've spent fighting us the past 30, 50 years plus. For a fraction of that, you actually could have solved our problems. And if you had done that, you could have put your own spin on it, a spin that I probably wouldn't have agreed with, like patriarchy harmed men too. But you know what? I'd have been so happy these issues have been solved. I could have lived with a spin that I don't really like. Furthermore, you could have taken all the credit for it, and indeed, while you probably wouldn't have deserved all the credit, you certainly would have deserved a fair amount of it. And on top of that, you could have kept it under your own supervision. Instead, you did everything you can to fight us, to disagree with us, to make sure our issues don't see the light of day, only to then turn around and get almost hurt when we say, well, I guess you just don't like men, or you're sexist bigots. And then you spend a lot of energy on that. But at that point, it's a largely futile exercise. So, again, just please stop fighting us. And you'll be surprised how quickly so many of our issues could have been solved. I do want to end this video by giving credit where credit's due. I have spoken to some feminists who support intactivism, or who agree with me on sexist military service requirements, and those are probably two of the biggest reasons I'm in the men's rights movement. So credit where credit's due, and I thank you for that. I'm Dr. Carl. Enjoy.